for the latest on the investigation. I'm joined on the set by France 24's Doug Herbert. Doug, the FBI trying to see if this is part of a broader network. I mean, what more has come out of this investigation so far and about the suspect?
Well, right now, you're absolutely right. They're investigating not just the immediate incident, the epicenter and the truck ramming on Bourbon Street, but any videos showing who is in areas related, close proximity to the incident, people who may or may not be suspected of being involved in planting other suspected explosives in the area because there were other suspicious items found around the truck. One of the big reasons that the FBI authorities in the U.S. think that he may not have acted alone. In fact, likely he did not act alone, is that they are finding more sort of spread out, dispersed elements that are more than just a little suspicious, even pointing to explosive potential. So the not acting alone obviously fits a pattern where if you're looking for terrorism patterns, attacks, often, yes, you do have lone wolf cases, obviously, but you also often have attacks in which you have a network of people working on various aspects of the operation. So he obviously would be the most visible because he's the one who drove the truck, rammed the truck into a crowd on Bourbon Street. What's interesting here is, once again, we saw back in Texas back in 2009, a U.S. Army, office personnel shooting on fellow soldiers and troops at a base in Texas back then. It's not the first time we've had someone who, is American, to the core, right? This was a U.S. citizen born in Beaumont, Texas, who is an Army veteran who did active duty for nearly 8 years, right? Starting in 2007 till early 2015. During that time, serving a tour in Afghanistan. So, you have a lot of speculation often surrounding these attacks. Yeah, it's being investigated as terrorism. Yeah, it looks likely that it is terrorism of some kind, which is why they're focusing on that. But to make the jump that, this is some outsider coming in to perpetrate an attack on the U.S., once again, Americans are being tragically, horrifically reminded of the fact that often terrorists are not just homegrown, but they are serving in some of America's most respected institutions, in this case, the U.S. Army. Outside the Army, as we saw in that report, he was erratic in his personal life. He was divorced from 2 ex-wives, one of whom had sued him for child support early on. He had gotten a restraining order at the demand of his second ex-wife. This is a man who obviously raised hackles of those he had been with in personal situations, his immediate family members. He apparently posted some videos while he was driving from, they believe, Texas to Louisiana to perpetrate this attack, posted videos on YouTube in which he indicates that he had been inspired by the Islamic State group, by ISIS. Obviously that giving more grist to the investigators to look at other possible links and causes of this attack. But once again, the tendency after these types of attacks is to jump onto the speculative bandwagon. And I think it's important at this hour really to stick to the facts of what we know, and the alarming facts of what we know. A homegrown U.S. citizen, Army veteran who had a troubled personal life and had also had a troubled financial situation in recent years from his own indications. They're going to be putting all of this together, and they're going to be looking perhaps also at one of the locations. There's an Airbnb in Louisiana that they are looking at as a possible place where maybe other explosives had been put in place. There had been fires or a detonation of some kind at that Airbnb before the attack on Wednesday morning on New Year's Day, leading them to connect a few more dots here. Once again, this is an investigation undergoing. There might be a lot of surprises ahead, and perhaps some unpleasant surprises.
All right, Doug, thanks for that. France 24's Doug Herbert.